So first and foremost, we want to welcome you guys for coming here. We're so happy to see you. I'll introduce myself first. So my name's Hannah. I'm head of our rehab department over at Chiropractic First.
Amazing at it.
I've been with Chiropractic First for almost 2.5 years. It's been amazing to watch our office grow immensely, so much that our traction unit has had to move to an even bigger spot. So I love being at our office. I love seeing the environment and family we have built there. So we see all walks of life, so young to old to people with special needs, people with severe pain, to athletes coming in. So we see all walks of life, and I think that's really cool that we can have a spot where everyone can come together for their care. We see many kids, many youngsters in our office. We are a very family-friendly office. You look at the front desk and Jade's typing on a computer while having a baby holstered to her. We have a kids play pit up at the front, and kids can watch TV shows and they can interact with each other. It's kind of fun to watch kids make friends, and then it's time for the parents to go and the kids are like, but we're having a good time. We have in each adjusting room, it's cool, we really cater to kids too. We've got little toys to keep them kind of occupied. I've seen a stuffed animal rabbit get adjusted a time or two. So we really create an environment that is very comfortable for kids. So whether it's an adjustment, it can be really scary. And so Dr. Todd is so amazing at comforting and getting on the kids' level. It was fun. So the other day, a kid just got adjusted or got x-rays taken. She came out of the room and wasn't kind of what I was expecting. She was like, oh my gosh, Dr. Todd was so funny. We were in there, we weren't saying anything to each other, and we were doing hand signals to each other. It was so funny, Mom. I was like, okay, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear that. So I would like to introduce Dr. Todd. He is an expert in spinal biomechanics, and he practices chiropractic biophysics, what we also call CBP. So it's a very highly advanced chiropractic method. Less than 1% of chiropractors actually take the time to study this very specific way of adjusting. We do mirror image exercises. We do postural exercises. That's what I like about our office is we go the extra mile of not only are you going to get adjusted by Dr. Todd, he'll write a care plan for you to do in-office traction. Your care goes beyond just an office. We send you home with at-home exercises and blocks too. He has been serving this community for over 24 years, and he has a huge heart for transforming lives. He's donated over 1,000 hours to Good News Rescue Mission and is very involved with the community. So he really wants to see people live their best life. My older brother, severe special needs, and came in the office, and Dr. Todd treated him like any normal person. And we don't get that very often. So he has an amazing way of connecting and being with you and you only. You are the only person standing in that room. And I think that is amazing because we have a busy office. We're constantly moving, but he can focus on you and your care. So again, I would like to introduce Dr. Todd.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, and I especially want to applaud you kids for being here. Applaud yourselves, kids. Yay! Kids are the reason that we're here tonight. Kids are my favorite people to take care of because we can make the biggest impact on kids. These are mine, by the way, starting with my very, very favorite person in the world, my wife, Deidre. We've been married for almost 26 years. And we just bought a tandem bicycle on Sunday off Craigslist, and we're riding it well together. People say it's a scary thing to do as a married couple, but it's awesome. And she is my favorite human being in the world and the matriarch, and most would say the boss of the family. And this is my first son, Mason, First Lieutenant Mason Royse. He went to the U.S. Air Force Academy, and he is now flying CV-22 Ospreys, some of the most awesome aircraft ever made. Ari knows exactly what those are. An amazing aircraft. And then his younger brother Skyler graduates from the Air Force Academy, which is where this picture is taken. In a couple weeks, he got a full scholarship to University of Michigan for graduate school, and then he's going to be a pilot himself and a teacher. He's very ambitious. And then the next brother, Bo, who's down at school in San Luis Obispo, has the most amazing heart, I think, of anyone I have ever met. My parents were coming through town last night, and they live in the Bay Area, but they were up in Portland seeing other family. And we had dinner, and they said, Bo calls us almost every day as the grandparents, and they love him because he has this huge heart. And Jacob is he's taller than me now. This is a couple years ago. He's probably the most ambitious of all of our kids, believe it or not. If you know what it takes to be an Air Force pilot, he is an absolute machine. He finished his last AP test today, so we applaud him. I had lunch with him. He's doing great. So I feel very blessed to have raised amazing boys, and I give 95% of the credit to that amazing woman. But what I'm going to share with you, my kids grew up with, and I sometimes take it for granted that people understand what we understand. And when kids grow up with the model that I'm going to teach you, it is an amazing thing what happens in their lives. My kids are amazingly healthy, never had a medication in their body, not a single one of them. Not an aspirin, not a Tylenol, not a vaccine, nothing. And it's a profound thing when they grow up with the principle that I'm going to teach you. So all of you here, I want to applaud you for being here to learn something. For most of you, a lot of this is going to be new, but I will tell you, I do this for the one person. It'll probably be more than one person, but at least one of you, your life will literally never be the same, because tonight is going to mark a huge change in your life, and I mean that with all sincerity. And because of my commitment to my family, before I get too far into this, I am committed to eating dinner with her and with him tonight. And so when I'm done here, please forgive me, I'm going to rush right off to be with them, because I've been gone all day and it's a busy day, so I get to be with them. So we'll speak with you when you come for your consultations, which I recommend that you all do, parents and kids alike, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. I'm not sure why this is not working. But that's just by button. Okay, I'll do it manually. Okay, so a mother zebra on the plains of Africa just has her tiny foal, and the foal is born, and the foal lies on its back and looks up at mom. Is it a foal or is it it's a foal, right? Okay. Oh, thank you. It's a female. 5 points to you for participating. This is a participation thing. Great job. It's a female because it's a mommy, right? So it has to be a female. Is the baby a female or a male, though? A male. The baby's a male boy. Thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you so much. What's your name, sweetheart? Elowen. Everyone clap for Elowen. Brilliant job. Baby boy foal lying on its back and says, Mom, it's so beautiful here. And the mom says, son, you have to get up right now and walk. He's like, walk? I just got born. It's so beautiful. I don't want to do anything but lie here and look at you. And it's so beautiful. She says, you have to walk right now. He says, Mom, I just want to lie here. She says, get up now. The lions are coming. He says, the lions are coming. I'm just born. You guys may say, gosh, Dr. Todd, there are no lions here on the plains of Redding, California. And you're right, there are no lions. But the health care problems we face with our children are like lions. Jade, can you be my clicker? Would you mind? So if I go this, it means click, okay? The down arrow. Perfect. So 1 in 6 children, maybe you could stand on the other side because I'm going to be roaming all around. 1 in 6 children has a developmental disability. In the 70s, it was fewer than 1 in 100. 1 in 6 children has a developmental disability between ADD, ADHD, autism, hearing loss, learning disabilities, mental disabilities, seizures, stammering, stuttering. According to an HHS-funded publication, 54% of children have chronic illness. Now, we know that hundreds of years ago, a lot of children wouldn't survive, but that was because of sanitation and things like that. But what we're talking about is chronic illnesses. This is the sickest nation this nation has ever seen, the sickest children we've ever seen. It's the sickest chronic illness generation the world has ever seen. When in reality, We are designed as an absolute miracle, okay? Everyone say miracle. Miracle. Kids all say miracle. Even if there's bread in your face, miracle. Okay, we're a miracle. Okay, so who knows, kids, what part of your body is this? Lungs, yes! Brilliant. These are the lungs. We breathe 17,000 times a day on average. 17,000 times a day. How many of you have to think every time you breathe? If you forget to breathe, what happens? You stop breathing or you still breathe? Still breathe? Yes, Ellen. Brilliant job. Okay, you still breathe 17,000 times a day. That's a miracle. What is this? The heart. Oh! This is the heart. The heart pumps over 100,000 times a day, pumps 2,000 gallons of blood through your body a day. And one of the main things it's pumping is something called a red blood cell that carries the oxygen to all our bodies. A red blood cell will make it from our heart all the way through our entire body in 60 seconds. So in a day, it will make 1,440 laps through your body, and they live about 40 days. That means it'll be over 60,000 laps through your body. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. That miracle is running your body. There's an amazing power running your body, but there's something that runs it that is very, very important to take super good care of. What part is this? Heel. Who said heel?
And the tummy.
It's the stomach, the stomach. So that's why we have donuts. Are donuts healthy?
No.
Not so healthy. Pizza, is pizza healthy? Maybe once in a while. It's yummy for sure. Burgers, candy. So we can make amazing body parts out of the foods that we eat. That's amazing. Yes, Eloise.
He is not good for you.
That's right. Another 5 points for you. Brilliant job. So, right, candy is not good for you, but we sometimes eat a little bit, right? A little bit sometimes. We don't want to have to be perfect all the time. But so here's a very important question. Who's ever eaten meat before? Any kind of meat? Almost all of us have eaten meat before at some point.
I ate chicken.
Excellent. The stomach is made kind of meat. That's a little gross to think of, but why? Our stomach digests meat and makes elbows and eyeballs and hair out of it. Why does our body not digest our stomach?
I have a toy bat here.
That is an awesome bat. Can the bat give me a high five? The bat. High five. Yes! High five, bat. So the stomach does not digest itself because hundreds of times a second, every cell in the stomach lining secretes an enzyme that stops it, a base that stops the acid from digesting the stomach itself. That's a miracle. That is amazing. How does your body know how to do that? Because it's a miracle. Your stomach, by the way, surface would be bigger than this entire room, bigger than a tennis court, the surface area of your stomach. This is a little harder to know. This is a cell. Like it could be a red blood cell, could be an eyeball cell, could be an elbow cell, could be a kidney cell. But all these cells in your body, you will make 2.5 million cells every single minute you are alive. 2.5 million. And when I rub my arm like this, I'm rubbing off dead skin cells that regenerate from the inside out. Kids say inside out.
Inside out.
Inside out. Brilliant job. We generate them from the...
I'm rubbing my eye.
Oh, yeah, you're rubbing your eye because you have an itch, because your brain tells you have an itch there. Don't rub too hard and never poke your eye, okay? Never pokey, okay? So right now she's rubbing her eye and cells come off of her skin and even off of her eyes. It's an absolute miracle. 2.5 million. How many of you think we should make healthy cells when we make new cells? Okay? In other words, when our body, every day our body makes about 100,000 cancer cells. So that might be a new word for you. That means a very, very sick cell. How does our body heal from that? Because our brain, the most important organ in our body that runs everything else, what is this called? The brain. The brain controls it. How does the brain tell the kidney to make new cells? Or the knee? Or the tummy? Yes, Eloise?
The brain helps us think what helps us learn.
That's exactly right. And it also tells our organs to make new organs and our red blood cells to make new ones every 40 days. And this is why chiropractors, the most important thing to learn about chiropractic is not about the back or about bones or even about the nervous system, but about the miracle of your body that God put in you. And so why chiropractic, why my kids don't have drugs all the time, is because we trust that God built our body to run and heal itself as long as it's free of interference, as long as the power's on in the body. So every time we get a fever, we know that the body's healing itself. Every time we feel like throwing up, how many of you have ever thrown up? Okay? That's the miracle body. It means something's in your body that you shouldn't keep in there, right? If we eat too much candy, sometimes we throw up. If we go to Chinese food and we order chow mein, instead they give us a poison called ptomaine, we need to throw that up. We don't want to keep it in there. And we get back pain. That's the body saying, hey, something's wrong here. Let's fix it. Coughing. How many of you ever pooped? It's awesome, isn't it? Who loves pooping? No one really. I don't know, maybe you do. But anyway, that's the body cleaning itself out. That's a miracle. Everyone say miracle. So that's why we're not all the time putting medications and vaccines and other things into the body that interfere with the way God made our body to heal itself. So this is a little old for probably most of you in here, but there was a show when I was young called The Brady Bunch, okay? And on this show, all four of these kids got the measles. So when I was a kid, the measles used to be nothing. A few years ago, there was a measles outbreak at Disneyland in LA. People freaked out like all these kids are going to die. It's the worst thing ever. So guess what they recommended? Mass vaccination. Stab everyone with poison and all these different chemicals in their body. But the reality is measles is a self-limiting 99% of the time. When we get rid of measles, our bodies heal and they're stronger. Everyone say stronger. Stronger. So Marcia, she's the oldest sister, she said, if you have to get sick, sure can't beat the measles, because they got to miss school and eat ice cream and stuff. How many of you think a lot's changed? Some for the better. Lots changed, some not so much for the better. Okay, click again. So here's what controls our body's ability to run and heal itself. It's all controlled by the master control system. What do you call that noodly thing that's up inside your skull, kids? Brain, 75 points. Brilliant job. Okay, the brain runs. How does the brain tell the lungs to breathe? Through your what? What is this thing? Back. Through your back. Brilliant job. The brain tells your back through this spinal cord. Life itself flows like a river through the spinal cord. That's right. Fabulous job. She's good. This is part of this. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. So the power that runs the lungs and the heart and the tissues and the cells and the going poop and the digesting our food and making new nose cells and nose hairs and boogers out of it all comes from the brain down through the spinal cord. How many of you think it's a good idea to take care of that spinal cord? It's the most important part of your body. That's why it's surrounded by a cage. What are the bones? Does anyone know what the bones of your spine are called? Yes. Say backbones. Backbones, also called vertebra. Okay, very good. So the power runs through there perfectly until it doesn't. I'm only going to teach you, some of you will have only one new word today. And that word is the word subluxation. That's a different form of this word right here. Normal means power. Everyone say power. Power is running through the nervous system and bringing life and healing to your body, keeping you super healthy. When the power's off, it means a bone shifts out of alignment, and it's a kink in there that shuts off life to the body. That's called a subluxation. We're all going to say subluxation on 3. Is everybody ready? Eliana, you ready? She's a little young for that. Subluxation on 3. 1, 2, 3. Subluxation. A subluxation means the power's off. Everyone say the power's off.
The power's off.
The power's off. But everyone say, I want the power on.
I want the power on.
Brilliant. All kids up front and center, we're playing a game. All kids who can walk. Awesome. The bat can be part of it. Bat is in. Bat, you're in. All kids, come on up, please. All kids under 15. We're going to play a game called the subluxation game. We're all going to get into line. It's easy. Don't worry. Okay, come on up. Xavier, come on up. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Everybody's going to be a body part. You're going to be the brain. Okay, stand. Would you stand right here for me, love? Okay, perfect. Okay, we're going to skip probably liver and kidneys. Okay, you're going to be lungs. Okay, you're going to be heart. Okay, good. And you're going to be, why don't you be kidneys? They're awesome. Okay, you be tum-tum. Brilliant. And you be cell. Okay, and you be liver. Perfect. Okay, now, actually, we need some people to be the spine. So let's get a couple parents. Wendy, could you come up? Kim, would you mind coming up? Okay, Hannah, would you come up? You're going to be the spine. Okay, Jonathan, you're spine too. Come on up. Okay, so parents are going to be the spine. Okay, you're going to be the brain. Hannah, you're going to be Atlas or C1. Okay, stand right here. Okay, Jonathan, you're going to be like C6, the bottom of the C spine. Okay, Wendy, you're going to be the bottom of the T spine. You're going to be right here. Yes, sweetheart? Those are kidneys, sweetheart. They filter your blood. All your fluids in your body go through there, and they clean it out. Okay, you're going to stand right here for me, Wendy, and Kim, you're going to stand there. Okay, those are the kidneys, okay? Those are the kidneys. They're right here. They're right in here. Good job. Thanks, Wendy. Okay, so this, hold on. Very good. You have a fruit bat. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is the subluxation game. So they're all spinal bones, okay? Raise your hand if you're a spinal bone. Okay, they're spinal bones. You guys are the organs of the body, okay? So the power runs through the spinal bones and into the organs of the body. Okay, so when these are all in alignment, the power's on. Everyone say power's on. Power's on. But when one goes out of alignment, the power's off. Everyone say power's off. Power's on. Okay, so everyone get a partner. Okay, so you're going to be Atlas. So you, sweetheart, stand right here. Would you please? It's okay. You don't have to. If you don't want to, it's okay. You do not have to. This is voluntary. Okay, fruit bat, Elwin, and bat and kidneys. Actually, you stand right here. Could you stand right there for me, love? Okay, and then you're going to be, so heart, we're going to be up for Jonathan there. Okay, then brain, you're going to be next to her. Could you? Okay, good. And then lungs, good. Actually, you scoot down one. Very good. Okay, good. And then your tummy, and so you go there. So one spinal bone will control a few things, and you're going to be liver, so you're going to go and you're going to be next to her with the gray sweatshirt. And Xavier, you're going to be, so you're the cell. You're going to be at the very bottom next to Miss Kim, okay? So here's what we're going to do. When we subluxate or power's off, you two sit down. You two sit down because the power's off. So say power's off. So we need a chiropractor, a doctor who specializes in turning the power on to turn the power back on. Don't cheat and go early. Just kidding. So now we stand back up and we say power's on. Power's on. Okay, good. So now we subluxate Wendy there and then sit down. Power's off. Now we push her back into alignment. We adjust her. Power's on. Stand up. Yay, power's on. Everyone stay standing. Okay, now we subluxate Miss Kim, and we say, power's off, and you two sit down. Perfect. And now we push her back into alignment. We adjust her, and you two stand up, and we say, what do we say? Power's on. Woo! Everyone clap. That's a subluxation game. Okay, very good. Okay, now everyone can go sit down, including the fruit bat. Okay? So, thank you very much. Oh, I love it. Thank you. You guys are so good. Thank you very much. Kidneys, thank you so much. Good. Tummy. Thank you. Very good. More applause. Brilliant job. Okay, so subluxations diminish nerve flow like a banana. Next slide, please. Like Superman, this guy, most of you are too young to know who this guy was, fell off a horse, kinked his neck up, kinked his Atlas, his top bone in his neck, choked off life to his body. It killed him. If we look at these two pictures, how many years, say you don't know the story, maybe you do, maybe you don't. How many years does it look like he aged from here to here? 30, 40, 50? The truth is it's 8. When he injured his neck, his body started to deteriorate. Subluxation steals life. It's totally fine. That's what we're here for. Okay, next slide. People don't realize he said, before he died, that when you injure your neck, you injure every organ in your body. I never realized just how fragile life was. So we played the subluxation game already. Next slide, okay? The number one subluxation, according to multiple studies, an osteopathic study a couple years ago, actually 2015, 99% of babies born in the hospital are subluxated from birth. 99. Abraham Taubman, Harvard University researcher, about 20 years ago, over 90% of babies subluxated from birth. Why is that? It's because doctors are pulling, twisting, and yanking on their necks from birth. Next slide. This is a video, a normal video, what we call normal, of a C-section. C-sections can be the worst. Now watch what happens. Watch how happy these doctors are. This is a normal, just everyday birth as a C-section. Click again. Okay, now watch. They're pulling him out with a vacuum. Now watch what they do with his head and neck and yank it side to side. Watch the bend left and then right. Look at the kink in there. I think I'm not going to get affected by that, and then every time I see it. There is no way, as resilient as we're made, that baby is 100% subluxated. That is a normal hospital birth by their eyes. Kids need to be checked. It's crazy not to have kids checked. Click again. It's way better to grow healthy kids than to try to patch up broken adults. Next. CBP is the science, art, and philosophy of the most advanced system of spinal rehabilitation anywhere in the world. How many of you know anyone who's traveled to maybe Sacramento or Palo Alto or San Francisco to get the best in medical care? Most of us know something. In fact, just an hour ago, I had a woman who has a problem in her finger right here, and she wants to go to a hand specialist, and she's like, should I go to San Francisco? And I said, no. Dr. Ferraro is one of the best in the world. He's right here at Shasta Orthopedics. With most specialties, to get the very best, you have to travel. In chiropractic science, the best work in the world we do right here. And I'm not bragging because I didn't invent it, but I've, excuse my expression, studied my behind off to be the best in the world at this stuff, because you deserve it. Because your kids deserve the right to have the best care available anywhere in the world. So that's why we have people travel here for this best care that there is. Okay, next slide. So I'm going to cover this briefly, but this is the paper that we're in pre-publication for, a scientific paper. And for a lot of these terms people aren't going to know, but this is what it's called: reduction in nocturnal enuresis and improvement in physical, mental, and behavioral performance in an 11-year-old male with autism, following correction of spinal alignment and posture using chiropractic biophysics mirror image rehabilitation program, a case report. So that's me. That was done in our office here. And this guy, Ryder, not his real name, but is an amazing specimen. You're going to learn about him. And I'm going to teach you about how CBP works by talking about his case. Next slide, please. He was referred by his pediatrician. People say, oh, MDs hate chiropractic. The ones who are back in 1960, who don't know any better, who haven't researched the best stuff, they might be. But the most advanced ones know chiropractic works for kids. So next click, please. Ryder's challenges in his body. I don't see problems. His challenges, that means bedwetting. He wet his bed. Pain in hip rotation and a weird gait, which means he walked weird. Autistic, physically and mentally slow processing, and very poor agility, like with a basketball in particular. So this is his posture. We take a posture screen photograph. Everyone see how the green line is normal? See how his head is this way? Subluxated or not subluxated? Subluxated. Normal or abnormal? Abnormal. Healthy cells or sick cells? Sick cells, right? Subluxated, right? His body's power, is his power on or his power off? It's off. Shifted this way, okay? From his head this way. Anyone ever seen anyone with their head like this? What do we do all the time that makes our head like that, right? Okay, next slide, please. So this is his x-ray, okay? So this green line is normal, head is forward, normal or abnormal? Power on or power off? Power off, okay, next slide. This is his middle back. Green line is normal, red line is this. Normal or abnormal? Abnormal. Power on or power off? Power off. Next slide, please. Low back. Power on or power off? Power off. The interesting thing about this is his bones. He's 11 years old in this picture. His bones are actually developing in an abnormal shape because his posture's off. If he fuses like this, it will never be corrected. If he fully matures, it will never be corrected. Next slide. This is his head posture, okay? Shifted off to the side. Normal or abnormal? Abnormal, right? So next slide. This is his lower back. Normal or abnormal? Abnormal. So he has a lot of challenges that are it's not like we just care about a pretty x-ray. It's that this is interfering with his brain's communication with his body. Next slide. So we have the EAT protocol. How many of you love eating? Hopefully everyone. My brother will skip meals. I can't even fathom this with forgetting. Anyway, that's not me. So EAT stands for exercise. Not everyone needs all these things. When they don't need it, they don't need it. But if they need it, like I just said to a patient 20 minutes ago, one of my best professors I ever had, people reserve the right to come in with unique challenges, disc problems and all sorts of problems, not just kids, but adults too. They need exercises, so click. So Christine, who set this up, we go to posture peak, click again. So for Ryder, he had to do exercises to correct his neck, click again. To correct his sideways posture, we have to go in the mirror image of that, click again. We need adjustments, okay? Eggs get cracked, spines get adjusted. How many of you want me to crack your baby's neck? Nobody on earth. In fact, there is no doubt in my mind, and this is right and true, I've had thousands of babies handed over to me, thousands. The trust involved is unbelievable. The amount of pressure to make an adjustment on a baby is about what you'd use to check if a tomato's ripe, about 4 ounces of pressure. It's incredibly delicate. And I know that a mother would take my life in an instant rather than let me harm their children, right? Raise your hand if that's true. You should raise your hand. Darn right. I have never and will never harm your child. And that is right. An adjustment, I would never crack your baby's neck. Most adjustments on babies are very, you don't even know it's been done. They get adjusted. And that's in the power zone. Click again. So this is me. I've been present for hundreds and hundreds of births over the years because they're better when they come out from the very beginning. If 90% of them plus are subluxated from birth, when do you want them to start having a healthy nervous system? Immediately, within minutes. That is the only logical response. If it's okay if you didn't know before, but you do now. Next slide. Traction. All right? Oh, love. All right. Every parent gets it. Okay, sweetheart. Okay. Totally fine. That's part of it. Not all kids need traction, but when they do, like Ryder did, click again, they need it in thoracic park. So he needed a traction that brought his rib cage forward and his head back. It's in the mirror image. Now click again. There are thousands of different possible traction setups. Right, Hannah? Right, Jonathan? You ready for this? Thousands of possible different traction setups. Again, most kids don't need traction, but if they do, there's no way to fix it without it. Okay, another angle of thoracic park. Welcome to thoracic park. I love saying that. Okay, who knows The Princess Bride? A nice mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich so the mutton is nice and lean and the tomatoes are perky. I love that. Okay, sorry. Okay, so they also may need dental blocks, as Hannah mentioned. It can be hard to fix a spine. It's like wearing braces on the teeth. How often are braces on the teeth? Is it like once a day for 20 minutes? No, they're on 24/7. We can usually correct a spine faster than we can correct teeth for one reason: we use muscles as levers. But you got to do your homework. So parents, if you're slacking a little bit, there's an admonition, okay? Get on there. These blocks we have many, many studies. I'll talk more about that in a moment. So click again. Structural results. Here we go for Ryder. 28 visits in 3 months. Power's off. Power's on, not all the way, but he's much closer. You see that? Okay. Click again. This is his middle back. Power's off. Much better, right? Not perfect yet. Next slide. Some of these we got new ones. So we just got new low back ones. Actually, it was in January. So this is July last year. This is 3 months later, like October. I don't remember exactly. But look how much closer he is to normal there. Power's on. Okay. Look how much closer he is, yet closer, right? Next slide. This is his AP open mouth. So how much further he was here than he is here. Awesome. Clap for him because he's amazing. Click again. So his postural results, you can see this is his first one. Better, not all better. So anyway, click again. So this is his overall after 3 months. And I think that's the last one. So yeah, not yet. So this is what his mom said about Ryder. Ryder was consistently wetting the bed 6 to 7 times a week before care and about once a week now. This is only 3 months. Now he's better. We had him in diapers at night because he was 11. Because it was so frequent and he would urinate through them even when we'd eliminate liquids after dinner. It's almost completely stopped since care. In his athletic ability, Ryder would slap a ball awkwardly when bouncing a small basketball, and now he walks more upright with more ball control. When passing a ball or crossing the midline from hand to hand, he would often lose control. A main concern for pursuing care was his foot turning out. After that, has not turned out at all. How has his speech improved? He loves to tell stories. With his speech delay, his sentences would always end with his last word dragging out or slurring for about 3 seconds before starting a new thought or part of his storytelling. Now it's more like half a second, not noticeable unless he's tired. His communication has also improved as he is reading body language more and engaging with emotions versus 100% facts. Wow. Emotions versus facts. He's now picking up on social cues and conversations. Mental and physical processing. He used to self-stim, that's an autistic behavior. Prior to receiving care multiple times a day, he'd run back and forth in a room making noise and flapping his arms while daydreaming at least 4 to 5 times a day for 5 minutes at a time. I've seen this behavior stop since past care. I've only witnessed him do it 1 time. He'll daydream sometimes while bouncing a basketball with a controlled dribble, but looks more like a normal child in this regard. His nervous system is more at peace. I wish I would have thought to time his processing speed prior to care. It would take him at least 5 minutes to write a sentence. I would say it's improved 60% of the amount of time it takes to get his thoughts on paper. It's amazing stuff. Thank you. So the thing is, the chiropractor does not do that, okay? We don't create that. God put that in his body. We just get his body to work with the power on. I wouldn't say power on. Okay, very good. So this is, his sisters drew this because they're now under care too, and they are absolute dolls. So we're going to look at their x-rays real quickly. This is just their first x-rays. So they all have unique pelvic imbalances here. So one has a physically shorter leg, one has equal leg lengths, but the tailbone didn't grow as much on one side as the other. This is so important to catch when they're little, because as long as they still have growth, we can actually stimulate bone growth by putting a lift in the shoe, because stress makes bones grow. We know this science very well. There are published papers on this. We go with the science. We go with whatever it takes. It is so important, because if she had grown, sometimes they grow out of it, but a lot of times they don't. And if she had grown like that, her spine would develop into a scoliosis almost certainly by the time she's fully fused. We don't want that. We want them to grow as healthy as possible with their power on. So because of time, I'm going to skip this next thing, 2 clicks. I'm not going to do the awareness test thing. That's maybe another time. Our group only, CBP docs, everything I mentioned, there are thousands of studies to talk about this. I mean thousands. Our group uniquely, who does CBP, uniquely CBP trained docs, we have over 315 peer-reviewed published studies on all these methods. We test it. We're not just making this stuff up, we test it. I want to talk to you about a few very recent ones because they're awesome. Click again. This is called a T-test, and the T-test is an athlete. This study was done on Division I basketball players, some of the best basketball players in college anywhere. They run 10 meters or 10 yards. They shuttle this way 5 meters, shuttle this way 5 meters, shuttle back, and shuttle back the 10 meters this way, 10 yards. A really good score for a high-level athlete is 9 seconds. They did a study where the only difference was forward heads. The people with forward heads, a subluxated neck, were 1.5 seconds slower. 20% slower just from a forward head. More importantly, when they corrected it, they moved faster again. Next slide. My good friend, Dr. Evan Katz, subluxation in the neck, lack of curve in the neck, decreases blood flow to the brain by 50%. More importantly, when we correct it, it restores that. There's no physical therapy, no traditional chiropractic that will get those results. Next slide, please. Athletes, Division I college athletes in their jump height. Forward head decreases jump height by 9 centimeters. That's 4 inches. When they correct it, it gets better. So that's enough. Oh no, one more study. This came out last week. This is my friend Dr. Douglas Lightstone. I don't know which guy it is. It's one of these guys, but this guy, over a 6-year period, professional rugby player, had 20 concussions where the brain gets injured from slamming into people. 6-year period, 20 concussions. He went and saw my friend Dr. Douglas Lightstone and corrected his neck to a 37-degree curve. We won't get into numbers, but he corrected his neck curve. He kept his same level of play, smacking into people hundreds of times a game for the next 6 years. 20 concussions before care. After care, feeling way better, out of pain, no headaches, way better. 2 concussions over the next 6 years. Because this person is way less likely to get injured than this person, who is even less than this person. This makes it, he's published it in the journal Concussion, the main journal on concussion in the world. There's nothing else that gets this level. So we want their power on, like getting adjusted, and I mean this part sincerely. I'm not going to be all things to all people. Like, sincerely, you might get frustrated with me. I'm not perfect by any means. You might move away where there's no CBP care. Okay, it's less than 1% of chiropractors who are trained at this level. Don't not get your kids chiropractic care, and I mean that. Getting it is way better to do structural care like we do, but it is way better to do something than nothing, and I mean that. So find chiropractic care. If you move to Timbuktu, if you don't like me, I mean that. Get care for your kids. I really believe in this level of care, but something is way better than nothing. Okay, next slide. I'm not going to geek out on how all the brain connects to the body, but there is amazing wiring that God hardwired. That's why we don't say, are you going to crack my neck? Because an adjustment means a huge chain of events throughout the brain and the whole nervous system is how we get these miracles that we get. And we've collected a tiny percent of the miracles that we've seen, but we have a binder full of them from the 25 years we've been doing this. 2 clicks. Chiropractic is a lifestyle. Kids should be adjusted and maintained from birth. And so, another click, please. So how do we know they need chiropractic care? Number 1, because they're breathing. Anything with a spine, that's why we adjust lots of dogs and cats, and I've even adjusted an iguana and some weird stuff over the years, but it's awesome because anything with a spine should have it working right. But some signs are ear infections, poor sleep, bedwetting, colic, less than 2 to 3 bowel movements a day, hyperactivity, oversensitivity, agitation or fretful, lack of appetite. These are signs that our nervous system is not working at a peak. So here's what we're doing, as we mentioned. I'm almost done, and you can get to your homes and do what you want to do. Next click, please. Here's what we're doing for your kids. We'll sit down, we'll talk about with you and with your children. We will address them as people because they are people. And most of them are fabulously brilliant. In fact, we found all of them are fabulously brilliant, and we love to maximize that. That's why we exist. Then we feel down their spine, and we do a very, very thorough posture check and take a posture photograph, and then we take x-rays. How young do we take x-rays? We usually wait till they're walking, most of them, sometimes even a little bit later. If we don't find any big signs of postural shifts or things like that, we sometimes won't take x-rays really early. But x-rays can be very beneficial for seeing what's going on structurally on the inside. So then we take the x-rays, and then we make another appointment. We sit down, we talk about it. So we have discounts for families under care. The second member's cheaper, the third is cheaper, and we have cascading discounts because we really don't want parents to have to make a decision about who gets care. We want whole families to be able to get care. So are we done with slides? Can you click again? Oh yeah, so normally that's $280 to $380 depending on how many x-rays are needed. And we don't have any kids on Medicare, do we? The retired people's, older people's insurance. I'm just kidding. I still have that from another thing. So that's $97. Everyone should do that. Your kid is worth that. Let's do an examination on your child. And it reminds me of one of my favorite stories, and that I think is the last slide. Click again. When we talk about, as we did in the beginning, what's that, buddy? Brilliant, 70 points, starfish on the beach. Can I eat that? I'm just kidding. You're like silly. Okay. What we face is serious, as we talked about. Kids, there's more chronic illness than we've ever seen in this nation and in the history of any nation. It's serious, and people wonder, like, it reminds me of the story that tells it perfectly. An old man is walking on the beach, and he sees starfish drying up on the beach, and they're dying because the tide is low, and he's throwing starfish one by one into the ocean. And a cynical teenage boy goes up to him and says, "Old man, you can't possibly hope to make a difference. There's thousands of starfish all over this beach, and there must be millions of beaches where this is happening. You can't possibly hope to make a difference." And the old man says, as he throws one back into the ocean, he says, "It makes all the difference in the world to this one." So again, as I said, at least one of you, your lives are never going to be the same, because we're going to get your kids power on and make a huge difference in their life. But I'm very honored to be here, and I look very forward to seeing all of you and your kids. And so here's how that works, by the way, for the examination. If you're a parent and you've never had an exam, you can do the same thing. If you just want to bring your children in, that's okay too. You can bring them in. But we're going to schedule you. Jade's going to tell you exactly how we do that, because I'm horrendous with administrative things. She's going to tell you exactly how that works. And I'm extremely thankful to have Jade and all of our team, including Hannah, who runs our rehab department, as she said. And I'm very thankful that you're all here, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. I'm going to again go join my wife for dinner, and I thank you all. God bless you, and good night. See you soon. Thank you. Everyone have a wonderful night.
All right, thank you, Dr. Todd. As you said, my name is Jade. I usually do the exams in the front office. So anyone that's interested or has any questions, feel free to ask myself or Hannah in the back. We are going to take anyone interested back over to our office next door so we can get those scheduling done. Again, like he said, parents, children, anyone in your immediate family would be happy to get you guys set up for that special that we're offering with the dinner talk. Any questions before we start heading that direction? Awesome. Who's interested? Yeah. Awesome. All righty. So you guys can go ahead and follow me. I'm going to drop off this back here.